got homes down here in Florida, where I'm at right now. We're in beautiful Kissimmee, about 5 minutes from Disney's Epcot Center. So, and you have to have reservations to get into the place. You can't just go buy a ticket and go. So, my son's with us right now, and he's a bit aggravated. He want to go to Disney. So, oh well, he can't go. But tonight's all about bringing a deal, and we're going to look at it and rip it apart and see if there's something we can do with it, if it's worthwhile, or see if it's just trash and throw it back in the trash can. Hey, before we get started, Brandon did a great job this morning.
Yes.
Spilling all up, pulling the pieces out and all that. Did a great job. Larry, I hope you make it to the end of the podcast. It's slow, man. He explained a lot of things and took things slowly. And, this is a guy that does presentations. He's putting on a 2-day show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't get a chance to even I want to get tickets to that. And if people that buy those tickets and they listen to a fellow by the name of Eddie Speed talk,
yeah, he's going to be there.
If you don't know Eddie, all right, he is he's moved more paper. Paper means mortgages and loans, other than banks. He's done the most of it in the country. He knows all the numbers. He knows where everything's going, the economy's going, as far as what paper, watching history and watching things, who's buying what areas of the country are moving more. I mean, when you're looking at the general forecast of our economy, and 30% of all mortgages are in some sort of delinquency, that's huge. That is huge. And as I understand today, there was something on our webpage. I didn't get a real good look at it, but said that forbearance agreements now all of a sudden are starting to go up. They're starting to take action with those. So I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read the article. I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever. But there's a lot of things happening right now in our economy. I mean, it's not 2007 and 2006 all over again where you're going to buy. My brother came down here to Florida from New York in 2000. I think it was 2005 or 2006. And he calls me. He says, Steve, he says, I'm in contract to have this one house built. He says, but there's people waiting online behind me, and they're buying 2 or 3 of these. Maybe I should buy another one. 3 years later, fast forward, more than half the homes in that entire area, that whole area that they built out. They built out all the homes. More than half of them were all were in foreclosure. Some variants of foreclosure. Besides the Chinese sheetrock, that was another issue that was going on back then. You didn't know if your home was even healthy to even live in. The U.S. didn't have enough sheetrock, so where'd we go? We went to China and bought sheetrock. So, can everybody hear me? Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
You could have a little bit more gusto if you wanted, but we can hear you.
Gusto, huh? Hang on.
You know what I mean when I say gusto, right?
Well, I talk loud usually, but I'm trying to tone it down some. I don't want to scare the hell out of my wife and my son. They're in the next room, so I got this thing set up in my house here. I took a bedroom and just says, I'm making this an office.
Tell them I'll send them a T-shirt if they.
There you go. So anyway, what do we got tonight? Who's got a deal who they want to talk about? Mateo, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I was already talking with Mark earlier, but so this is an apartment, right? The guy wants to sell it for 130, 140 for what basically he bought it in 2005, 2006 when the bubble was.
You say it's an apartment?
It's an apartment, 2-2.
A condo or a cooperative?
It's just a unit in a building, an apartment.
Where is it located? What town?
West Palm.
West Palm. Well, yeah. What's important to find? Okay, go ahead. You keep going, and we'll ask you questions. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, what he wants to do is he wants to sell it about the price, but he's open to do some type of seller financing. It doesn't need to have his his money all up front. So he still own around 100 and something, 110, 115. 100, yeah, that's what he was saying. And the rent in that area are around like 1,300 to 1,500 in the same area. There is not a lot of comparable right there in the neighborhood, but it's a good rental place. Basically, a lot of people who buy in that area, they are renting. So they're mainly landlord, the owner in that area.
How many units are in the building?
Are rented over in the building.
How many total units are on the property? Is it a small place? Is it a big place?
No, it's like in the same area. There's like 2-3 building.
Yeah.
So it's not a big complex, if that's the question.
So it's more than 10 units, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, so it's 10.
But are dependently on each one.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Condition of the property?
I haven't seen it yet because I still have to wait his coming back from Colombia.
And you don't think there's a mortgage on it?
There is a mortgage on it.
How much? Oh, so it's 100. That's right, $110,000. You know what his carrying costs are on a mortgage?
Oh, no, I didn't disclose that yet. But
yeah, here's a few things you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
The thing you got to find out is how what are you buying? If it's a cooperative, that's one thing. If it's a condominium, that's another thing. If it's outside, well, it's inside of a building, so it's probably one or the other. If it's a cooperative, stay the hell away from it. Don't get involved. Don't get involved with cooperatives. If it's a condo and you're really in love with this thing, I don't do condos.
Okay.
Anymore. All right, I've done some, but I got crucified with these HOAs. I mean,
yeah, HOA is like 280. It's not that bad.
No. I mean the board on the HOA.
Oh, the board. Yeah, you're right.
You know, they might have. You know, what you're going to have to do. The first step you do after you go see this guy, or even before that, is ask him for a retail seller's package that comes from his HOA. All right. You want to find out. You want to find out if the HOA's got any big lawsuits against it, how they're capitalized, to make sure they're going to be around. You don't. This guy bails out from the guy that owns it. You wind up taking this thing over, and next year they got a $30,000 assessment levied against each place because it was poorly managed. It needs a roof. The sewer system's a problem. You know what I mean? So you want to look at the HOA and look at their package as close as you can, like buying a condo. The condo, you're buying everything inside the four walls, and you get a percentage of the common areas. So as far as working a deal with this, you got to look and see what his mortgage, how much his mortgage would be. Well, what do you want to do with it? You want to rent it? You want to flip it? What's your goal with this?
I want to wholesale it to some other investor. I mean, making up a deal when I can get my fee up front and assign it to someone else for either through seller financing, but get an assignment for it, or through a lease option.
You're thinking way too much. Hold on a minute. Let's back the train up to the horse a second. Let's connect it again. If you want to get in and get out of this thing, that's one thing. You're not talking about seller financing. You're talking about somebody that's going to come in the door. If you can buy it with seller financing and assign it, that's fine. All right. He might not be crazy about that. If you listen to the call this morning, he said something that was very, very, very straight. And he says, I protect my sellers. And he does that in the form of what he called a rep. All right. I don't do that way, but I understand what he said. All right. But if I'm going to go after properties like this, I want to own the damn thing. And I want to be the guy that's in the middle, and I want to do that. I don't think there's enough meat on the bone here. If he's got $110,000 in debt and it's worth around $140,000, what do you plan on giving him for this property? It might not be worth the 110 that he's got in debt, even if he gives it to you for $1. And you're gonna what wholesaler is gonna come in? Wholesalers normally want to buy these things. I don't know about your area, all right, but most wholesalers that I know of that are looking at condos want to buy them for 50, 60 cents on a dollar.
Hmm.
And they
No,
want
I was looking to assign it to an buy and hold investor because the rent in the area is around the 1% of the purchase price.
okay, so let's say it's worth $140,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and even if you go by the standard 70 cents on a dollar, you're looking at $98,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's providing this thing needs nothing. There's no hair on this deal. It's a beautiful condo in a beautiful area that your end buyer can lease out, and there's no skips or pieces inside with the HOA that says he can't do it, or he can't have more than one or two a year, or he can't do it for more than 6 months out of the year, and the primary owner has to live in it for 6 months. There's a lot of stuff in these HOAs. You got to read the fine print. Single family houses are so much easier to do, right?
I know.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just simple. I mean,
No,
they don't
there is no there is that's what I find out. There is no renter restriction. There is not. You can rent it right away.
Okay, well, then I'd look to go in and if he's got $110,000 in debt and the new to make the numbers work at 70 cents, you're at 70% in a perfect world. You're at 98,000, and that's what your guy's going to want to buy it for. 90 is the 98. So the only other way around this thing, if it's perfect, right, is maybe you take the property for the 110, let's say, and you look at what the carrying costs are, meaning the interest on the mortgage, the principal paid down. If it's really 110,000, look at what your carrying costs are for the HOA. Who pays what? Insurance is usually pretty cheap on those, right? You put it all together, and now how much money you want to make a month on this thing, or how much money you think the investor's going to want for his return. So if he's going to take over $110,000 debt, you're going to take it over. All right, the $110,000 debt. All right, what kind of a fee do you think you're going to make on this thing wholesale?
I'm gonna make. I don't know. I was thinking about between 5 and 10.
5 between 5 and 10,000.
Yeah.
Would it be like a tenant buyer type retail? I'm moving in with a large lump sum deposit up front kind of
That would
buyer.
be that would be easier to do than talk about the financing package and all that because there's so much business up north that's moving south right now. If this place is decent in a nice area, it should fly off the hook. How big a condo is it? How many bedrooms?
2-2.
It should fly. I mean, people are looking for these things.
Yeah, but I was looking at the lease option, but I don't know if it's the same in all the state. But you have to be careful that the lease option doesn't go, with, how can I say, is not gonna be considered like a mortgage. So if you do like the certain percentage go towards the purchase price, can like be considered as a mortgage from a judge.
How about you want to make $5,000 on this thing? Get in and get out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why don't you go contract with the guy? Get a contract with him for whatever the payoff is on his mortgage. That's it. Your contract's going to say whatever the payoff is on account number, blah 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 blah, with this particular bank. I'm going to pay it off. Go run it past the title company. Go do a little bit of due diligence. Make sure there's no other liens or anything on the property. Now take that contract. You figure the payoff. Let's just say it's 110. It's worth 140. Put it up. Start marketing this thing for $125,000, and who knows? You might make the whole 15 grand, and you might get a realtor that comes along and says and wants to work you a little bit. You might still make $5,000-$10,000 on it without talking about seller financing or nothing. You're quick in the deal and you're quick out of the deal. You got to
Mhm.
be careful with these condos, man. Every deal's got hair on it. Every deal. So
Mhm. But he wants that. The thing is, he wants the 140. That's what he wants. In 130, 140. That's what is his price.
I see.
well, he wants full retail for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I want to be 95 pounds blonde and have long hair. That ain't gonna happen to my again. So that's not a deal. That's not a deal.
Okay.
Go look at some single
Not
family.
with seller financing. I mean, it's not. It's not.
Even with the even if he seller financed it, if he
Mhm.
already has 110,000 in debt, you're paying full retail for a property that might not appreciate. I don't know, and you're going to be held ransom by the HOA, whatever they want to do. And you're talking about one way or the other. If they're pissing and moaning, excuse my French, about someone coming in the door and offering financing in the form of a lease option or a contract for deed or a mortgage and a note, they're going to have a problem with that. You got to go and ask for their okay.
Mhm. Okay.
And the guy you're going to put in there, they might have to approve.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
That's so true.
There's not enough. There's not enough hair on a deal, man.
Yeah. To me, that's the real issue on that one is you when you deal with mobile home parks or with condos where it's like an apartment building and there's a lot of units inside or something like that, where there's a homeowners association, a lot of times, even if they will allow a lease or a lease with an option to buy in their community, a lot of times they want to qualify that person as well, run them through their background checks because they're going to be living in the community as well. Like I've seen it get kind of crazy. I've tried to do one like that myself one time, and I promised myself I would never do it again. And I
Well,
think that's really what Steve is getting at. I think.
if you want to do condos, I'll send you to somebody that has a condo course. It's not a lot of money, 600-700 bucks. You'll be the king of the condos in Southwest Florida, wherever you are. All right, and she's done everything there is to do. She's from Connecticut. She's got condos in Florida, condos in Georgia, and she's a really smart lady. If you're interested in that, she knows. She actually wrote the book on it. So if you're interested, let me know. I'll
Yeah,
put you in
Oh,
contact
listen.
that's
with her.
cool.
I'll put you in contact with her. If you're gonna do condos, that's a whole nother hair on the dog, man. Really
I
is.
I actually just for clarity's sake, I want to say I've done condos since I made the decision to not do them. But but the thing is I did a lease option and I quickly assigned the entire thing away with 100% transparency on both sides, a cooperative lease option assignment, and then just walked away. And the homeowners association was fine with those and whatever. So like, not every condo's like that though. Don't.
Mateo, you don't have a deal. Toss it out. Go look for some single family deals. They're
Yeah, that's good
much
advice.
simpler. Everybody wants one. Go out of your area. Just look a little bit. Look a little bit on the fine points. You'll find some. They're all over the place. All right, let's roll on. Anybody else got something? Let's go. We even got Ace on the line tonight. I know
Yeah, it's good to see everybody.
Ace is on. We got Larry, Ace, Dr. Michelle, Ed Klasky, Jason, Kenny, of course, Mateo, and Nick is on. Nick Gonzalez. Okay. He's taking notes tonight for Wednesday night.
What's up, dude?
Hey, bud. Hey, bud. I caught part of your show there on Wednesday night. I was in between running around, but you're doing a hell of a job on it. Good for you, man. You know,
Thanks, man.
it was more. You do more of a presentation. I think you're a college professor or something. When I grow up, I want to be just like you. I'm telling you. You know, if you look at the way this whole club is changing, all right, over the last like 5 6 weeks, if you just run the clock back to where we were and to where it is today, all right, people weren't talking about options or seller financing. And listen to these guys on the phone tearing it all up. Well, let me just give me an option for what you want to sell it for, and they get started with that. People are starting to talk about what the cost is to sell. You didn't hear any of these conversations before, you know. So I mean, it's like I don't know, man. It's like graduating from class from first grade to second to third
Yeah.
grade. I mean, it's great. I think it's a fabulous thing. What I said to Brandon this morning, I says the more information that you can pound into people's heads, the basics.
Yeah.
This is stuff you're not going to find anyplace else.
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
really not.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's so true.
the better off they are. So anyway, what do you guys want to talk about tonight?
I turned a wholesale deal into it was a dead lead from a wholesaler, turned that to a lease option. It was started off as an option, then turned into a lease option from was an 18-month now down to a 12-month. So hopefully that goes through. He wants to again. He wanted to do the Claude Diamond, talk to the priest, the wife, the whole 9 yards, and I almost told him like you don't have time to think about it, but it was a JV thing, so I didn't push it so much. But um, the guy actually called me a while ago, and he's like, I have a question, kind of cleared up some stuff, and he's like, yeah, are you available about 9:30, 10? If we're ready to go, all I have to do is like, if you're ready to go, you just sign it, and we're good to go. It's all virtual signed already, so he sent
Wow.
us. So
It's a
we'll see what
beautiful
happens.
thing.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
beautiful thing. Who can move around all these assets? Okay, will you control an asset? We're not putting any money up front. Really?
right.
Yeah.
You're going to control this asset with a partner, a JV partner, or something like that. This guy can't do anything else. I don't know how expensive the asset is or whatever it is, but you're going to control this thing and do what you basically want with it per the contract and
Yeah.
not have any investment in it.
Right.
This is the best thing since canned beer. I'll tell you.
Well, I'm hopefully to try to turn one property into two because he does have a back property that he's renting out with it. So it's two properties, a main house in front, and then like a small one bedroom of like 800 square feet that he's also renting out. That makes about 850 a month on that one, and the main house is getting 1200. So we were just talking about the main house, and then he says, um, well, that's not enough cash. And I said, well, does the other house have a parcel? And he said, yes. I said, well, instead of talking one house, why don't we talk two houses? And then he's like, I can do that. Is like, if you own them free and clear, you can do whatever you want. And he says, well, okay. So I'm hoping that turns into another thing tomorrow with them. So I may hopefully have, I don't know how much it would be on an 800 $800 a month deal, but um,
It's enough money to make your conversation happen.
right, right.
So I mean, if the rent is $800 a month, I mean, my average lease option in Alabama, someone brings me 850, 800, 850 a month. That's at least a $4,000 or $5,000 carry up front. You don't get rich on those, but it gives people get some skin in the game. And those
Yeah,
are the deals that I hold. They're properties that I hold. So, and I want to put the guy in there for a year, let him test drive him before I go ahead and I hold the mortgage on him. So you could do the same things, man. You could do the same thing.
I'm taking my notes. I'm definitely
Yeah.
reviewing all that.
That's how you build
Yeah.
long-term cash flow. All right.
Yeah.
I'm a mailbox guy. I love money in the mailbox. All right. And I was just checking this morning. Matter of fact, all my tenants up in Alabama that I have on lease options go. I don't even a management company up there. They go to. I opened up one checking account for each house, and I tell them you got to go and make your payment at Regents Bank. All right, on the first of the month. You got till the fifth. On the sixth of the month, you owe me another 10% of the note, whatever in the world it is. So most people pay on time and they don't have an issue. And you can pay online with Regions Bank, or you can go there. They're at the post office. I mean, they're at the supermarket. They're everywhere. And I can go online and transfer the money into my main accounts in New York. So I'm going to be doing that down in Florida. But for people here that are going to hold lease options and hold them themselves, if you're worried about the property being labor-intensive old home, then yeah, use a management company. But on stuff like I got up in Alabama, I've got a real good realtor that I work close with. And if there's a problem, she handles it for me. She knows they're going to come back there and buy more properties. I'll be up there hopefully next week, and I can score some more stuff. So, yeah, man, you got it. You got it. Just these deals that you throw to wholesalers for the $5,000, a lot of those you could do what Brandon was talking about this morning. And taking that money, you could keep the flow for 5 years. You could keep it for 10 years. You could keep it forever. You could build a long term financial situation for your family when you're long gone.
Right. That's the idea.
Yeah. No, you got a long time. You're still a young guy.
I want to ask a question.
Shoot.
This morning when he was talking about the various um, his process of thinking through a deal, and first he would think through, well, can I offer cash? Is it discounted? And like then, for example, on a free and clear property, he would then go from a cash offer if that's not fitting to a seller carryback.
Right.
That would be a strategy he would do. Okay, so when he was talking about when the homeowner has a conventional loan
Right.
and it's not paid off, okay, so they still have this mortgage on their house.
Right.
He was talking about you would do a subject to, or you could possibly do a wrap or a contract for deed or a land contract or an all inclusive contract, one of those things.
You're only limited by your imagination and what you want to look at what your end game is going to be.
Okay, okay, so that's the question.
Yeah.
The question is the end game here. Okay, so let's say I have a homeowner. I find out they have a conventional loan on the house that they're making service on every month.
Right.
Find out some details about that. I I'm I enter into an agreement with them that is one of these wrap type agreements. So let's say it's a contract for deed. Okay.
Sure.
Now, how do I sandwich this to an end buyer? You see, that's where I can't.
Well, when you're buying, you're actually all right. You got to put numbers together with this. And to keep things simple, let's say it's $100,000 house. All right. Most of those contracts like he's talking about, but if I can best explain it, I understand pretty much what he's doing. Take that $100,000 house, and it's got a $50,000 first mortgage on it with XYZ Bank, and if it's really worth the whole 100, he's got $50,000 in equity, right?
Sure.
And you want to come along and you want to give him the whole 100,000 because he won't budge. All right. All he talks about is he wants 100,000. You're on the phone with him for 8 minutes. The first 8 minutes, all he's talking about is he wants 100,000. So I guess he wants 100,000. So you structure a deal, and you can structure a deal with this guy a few different ways. You can take the $50,000 that he currently owes, and that's the first mortgage. You can wrap it with the second note for the other $50,000. That's his equity.
Yeah.
That's assuming you're giving him no money down.
Yeah.
All
Right.
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 Now you have one package that you're buying the house with.
Okay.
All right. We're good so far. Now I want to sell this to you, Justin. I'm going to sell this to you now as a retail buyer.
Okay.
Not a wholesaler, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to sell you this house for $125,000.
Yep. I'm going to move into it and live there.
All right. Now my first mortgage to XYZ Bank on the $50,000 was, let's say, 5% interest, and that's the remaining balance is the 50 grand. So let's look at something for a second.
Yeah.
Let's put some numbers together. $50,000 is the principal. Hold on a minute, guys. I got my own calculator. $50,000 is the principal. We've got, let's say it was a 360. Well, that ain't gonna work. Hang on. let's just say it's $500 a month to keep it simple. All right, it's $500 a month in the principal and interest, taxes and insurance, another 100, so it's 600. So let's write down $600 on the 50 grand. All right. Now, I might say to him, I'm going to give you the whole amount, this whole 100. I'm going to give you the 100,000, but the last $50,000, in order for me to cash flow this thing and make some money, I can't pay you any interest on this thing. But I'm going to give you $300 a month, let's just say for the first 5 years. And then it's going to go up to $400 a month for the next 5 years. And then $500 a month for the next 5 years.
Okay.
Until it's paid off.
Okay.
Or I just say, look, I'm going to give you $500 a month until it's paid off. And I put that in, let's keep it simple.
Okay.
$500 a month until it's paid off. So that's what our new second mortgage reads. $500 a month on his $50,000 till it's paid in full. All right. So now we're good. So we have a first on the property with the bank. We have a second on the property now with my seller. Now I want to sell this to you. So I got $100,000 in debt. All right. And let's say for argument's sake, we have $1,000 a month going out altogether. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. All right. Now I'm going to take this $100,000 and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to take this home and say, what can I get for this thing? Let's say rents in the neighborhood is $1,600 a month. Let's write down $1,600. All right, rents. All right. So I would be okay marking this house up so that my payment is less than rent. I'm going to go to what they call a penalty box buyer. Someone who can't get a mortgage right now. Contractor, someone that's not claiming enough income, but they got plenty of money in the bank. There's loads of them. They can't pay cash, they can pay cash, but they won't for tax reasons because they're worried for an audit, whatever. There's money under the mattress, you know what I'm talking about. So let's sell this $100,000 house. We'll figure. Let's sell a prime number. Let's just say $125,000. All right. So we're going to sell it for $125,000. And we gave him no money down up front. Let's get $20,000 down. So we're going to take $20,000 off. So I've got $105,000 new mortgage that I'm going to create. Now it's a third mortgage.
Okay.
All right. So now this mortgage for $105,000 is going to be principal and interest. Let's just keep it simple. Yeah, $105,000 is the principal. Let's say it's 240 months by 12. So on a 20-year deal, his mortgage payment's $1,013.27. That's on 10% interest. That's on $105,000. All right. So our numbers actually to this buyer should be a lot less. There won't be $1,000 in payments when you work the numbers out. But when you sit here and we're just saying how can we put a deal together, that new third mortgage is a wrap mortgage of the first and the second. You're responsible to make that first and second mortgage. The third mortgage is between you and your buyer. The deed to the property is in your name. You're going to sell this house. You're selling this thing. I don't want my name on the mortgage. I don't want my name on the deed. I don't want to own this damn thing.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one problem I got with these contracts for deed and all that. All right.
Gotcha.
Not saying what anybody's doing is wrong. All right.
Yeah.
So my game plan is I sell this guy this house. And in the states I do this in, they're non-judicial states. So I can get the house back relatively quick. I don't have to wait 3 years to get it back. All right. So I sell this house. I get $15,000 down. I've got the spread, the cash flow spread between what I'm paying on the first and the second and what I collect on the third. The numbers on that real 50 and the other 50 should probably be somewhere around I don't know, 500 or 600, maybe 650 a month for everything if you really think about it. So you probably got a $400 a month spread, all right, for it all. So you can hold on to that, you can balloon it out, and you got this for. I quoted you on a 20-year mortgage at 10% interest. You can do it all day long on mortgages that are really under like 125. If they tell you, oh, I can get 5, everybody else is 3-4%. Well, go get that mortgage and bring me a check. Oh, I can't do that. Well, then you're not in that 3-4% deal. So, but did I answer your question, Justin?
Yeah, yeah, you did. Another question too. I've seen these done at a kitchen table. Um, is there anything that you recommend that someone do with these wrap type documents, these wrap type mortgages, which
Oh,
are really like contract for deed or something like that? So, what other like what do you recommend happen in order to make it more official, other than just a kitchen table closing between mom and pop and Mr. Investor or
well,
something
when
like
you
that?
buy it, when I'm buying the property and there's a mortgage involved and they're going to do seller finance or whatever it is, I've got an attorney involved. There's got to be an attorney somewhere. I'm not drawing up, and you have to be fair to both sides of the transaction. You might even just share an attorney if they don't want to spend the money for it or whatever the case may be. But
Gotcha.
most attorneys won't represent both sides.
Right.
All the deals that I do when I'm buying a house with seller financing, or I'm taking over a mortgage subject to whatever the transaction is, I've got an attorney there. The attorney is protecting my behind. If something goes wrong down the road, he's licensed. He's got to make this thing
Yeah.
right. All right. That's the first thing. Second thing is if you're doing it, you listen to him this morning. There's two different types of transactions. There's one where you're dealing with business to business because you're a businessman. All right. And you're not buying this home to live in and for the rest of your life. So you're buying it as a businessman and you're going to turn this property over. Now, who you do business with from that point, if you're dealing with another businessman where he's not going to move into it either, then it's a commercial transaction. You don't have to worry about Dodd-Frank. As far as I know, if you're going to bring in a
Yeah.
consumer, I don't care if you're doing contract for deed, if it's any form of
Mhm.
financing where these people are going to gain equity, where you're collecting a down payment, where there's installments involved. Dodd Frank has got to be looked at, and it's not that big a deal. You got yourself a licensed mortgage, a real estate, an RMLO, a red, blah, 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 licensed mortgage loan originator, and they're all over the place now. And
Yeah.
they'll put the deal together. They'll make sure you're compliant. Because here's what happens. Let's say you sell or finance this now to Joe Jones. You're 3 years down the road, and you know what? I'm sick of holding this mortgage. I got $85,000 tied up here. 90,000. I can turn it. I can flip this mortgage and sell it. We trade notes every day. Look at the dollar bills. Federal Reserve note. We trade notes every day. You can do the same thing with the real estate note. Same thing with the note and the mortgage. Now that documents, your transaction holds all the water it needs to hold if you closed it correctly with an attorney and your RMLO. If you did one of these tabletop deals and with one of the good old boys and you're signing the documents on a hood of your car,
Yeah, that's what
lots
I'm
of
talking
luck.
about.
Lots of luck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that ain't gonna. I don't know.
So you don't recommend that?
Not at all. Not if you're talking
Yeah.
about financing.
Yeah.
Nah, nah. I don't think that's a great idea. Yeah, don't think
Like
that's a
like
good.
in other words, yeah, sitting there at the kitchen table, they got the amortization schedule printed off of Google. You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
I'm not really keen on that. I'm just not. I'm not really keen on that. You're asking
Oh.
for trouble. All I
Yeah.
gotta say is, well, he didn't explain this to me. Or I didn't know I was doing this, and I didn't know I was doing that. And all of a sudden, you got a major fire, and it could
Yeah.
happen. It could happen 5 years from now.
So what are we talking money wise to get an attorney involved in that?
It depends on where you're going. Your average RMLO costs, I can tell you, run on the average of between $400 and $800, and that's a cost of doing business. And whatever you pay your
Yeah.
general attorney to close a deal. Because most of the RMLOs, there's a couple of them that are out there now that'll do everything, all your documents. And they'll send everything to the attorney or they'll send them to you if you want to close them. I had them sent to the attorney. It's a cheap insurance policy.
Yeah.
All right. And I want to make sure that when
Yeah.
I'm done,
Yeah.
if 5 or 10 years down the road, I want to sell this paper,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
It's gold. Yeah.
Otherwise, I come along and I want to buy your mortgage or your note, and I'm giving you 20 cents on a dollar for it. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
So I got to go do things to fix it.
That's great.
Steve,
Are you doing memorandums, Steve?
Memorandums
Of agreement?
yeah, I just did. I
Yes.
did one in Florida last year. Thank God. It was on a business to business transaction. It was on a master lease, and I had an option to buy it. And I went down and I recorded it. I smelt a rat. I'll be honest. I didn't record it right away. And the person I was doing business with lived in Canada, so it wasn't an easy transaction to get off the ground. But this was a business to business transaction, and the person I was putting in the property, I assigned my entire deal to them, and and I was still the landlord. I was collecting the rent, but I was giving him my right to purchase and all that for a certain amount of money. And he went around me before he signed all this. All right, and he thought he was smart. And he hired a private investigator to go and find this person that owned this business, and he found her. And I had no clue. All right, the rent's being paid, and I get a phone call from the property owner, saying, "Thank you so much. I understand we're going to closing." What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, he's putting money together, your guy, and he's doing this, doing that. When I did this lease, I paid the attorney to go ahead and file it, and that stopped everything right then and there. So it was it. I file memorandums. I don't do a lot of what you guys are doing with this lease options with just lease the property quick, flip it, and move it. I don't do a lot of those. I do more businesses leases. I do more subject twos. I want cash flow. I'm not in this to put a 4 or 5 grand, quick money and turn it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of deals out there with that. But to me, it's another job. I've done all that. I want to move on and retire, so I can just do this all day and bother you guys. So,
Steve, I have one question. Going back, you use the RMLO just when you sell it, but not when you buy it, right?
RMLO is required under Dodd-Frank when
Yeah,
you're doing anything retail. Think of retail, consumers. You can buy from this person and get seller financing from them and everything else. They're dealing with you as a business. Dodd-Frank doesn't have a damn thing to do. Dodd-Frank is there to protect the consumer. It's actually there to screw the guy that's trying to do business with the consumer. I swear, because these people could care less, half of them. But it is what it is. What else, guys? Anybody's got a deal here or anything for us to look at tonight?
That's good.
Or any other
That's
questions?
good. Yeah, everybody's got their camera off and playing all shy and everything tonight.
Well, I did have a question in terms of the so on the what was it? It was about the loan mortgage originator too.
RMLO, Dodd-Frank,
Yeah, the
retail.
Dodd-Frank thing. Um, yeah, because I know here in Texas we have up to a point where we can do 5 technically without it if you want to go that route, but then after that it's required. Either you can only do so many. Now on those, if so when dealing with an attorney, do you still go with like the title company and do that with title for in a title closing state, or do you still bring in the attorney no matter what if it's a finance deal?
If I lived in your state, I bring in an attorney and I bring in the RMLO.
Okay.
Don't worry about the 5, because you know what? If somebody blows it putting this deal together,
Yeah.
paperwork wise, if it gets a couple of signatures or documents or proofs or disclosures, and you go 5 years from now and you want to sell that paper, you're going to take a bath with it.
They ain't
Make
gonna care if
sure
it
it's
was your first
all,
5.
yeah, make sure it's all compliant. That's why you're using these guys, to keep you in compliance. And when people come in the door that are professionals and banks that are out there buying paper right now, buying mortgages, buying these documents, they're looking for the stuff that you might have skipped over, and that's how they're going to make extra money. So it pays to pay for the compliance. It's cheap. It's dirt cheap. Don't look for the outs. I wouldn't care if they said you could do 20 of them for free. Doesn't matter. I would still employ these because I know what it's like to get contracts done and all that, and all of a sudden they're not in compliance, and you're going to lose 60, 70 cents on a dollar. You're going to give the contracts away because they're worthless. I bought those and had to fix them. I knew what I was getting involved with years ago. I don't do it anymore. Dodd-Frank. Yeah. Is what it is, gents.
Yeah. Then I have another question, and then it's kind of directed to both you and Justin. Have you guys used or plan on using any virtual title companies that do virtual closings?
I haven't had a reason.
I haven't either.
If I have issues, I've got the title companies I'm friends with, and they're there. And in Florida, things are cranking back up. I mean, they're really busy. But from where the majority of the staff was working at home or afraid to come in, or the county or the state, the county records weren't available because of COVID, that's all back on track from what I can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not doing. I have no reason. But these remote notaries are a big thing today. Now,
Yeah.
these virtual notaries can
Yeah.
be a big help for people.
Yeah. That's so true. Yeah.
I have a question when you're ready.
Dr. Michelle, where you been?
Go for it.
Oh, I've been working, working hard. All right,
It's in the
so
operating room. Yeah.
all right, so I've just literally got off the phone with someone in Arizona. Well, I think she's in Arizona, but anyway, the potential deal is in Arizona. So I'm going to just give you some numbers here, and you can just let me know what you think.
Okay.
So we've got an ARV of anywhere between 325 and 375.
Right.
The property's in Tucson, Arizona. It's a 3-2. We've got a mortgage balance of 231,154.
Right.
We have PI 969, PITI of 1342.
Okay.
Rental between 1,800 and 2,200.
Okay.
Any kind of updates around 10, maximum 15K. But definitely we'll need some carpet. I think the other stuff, is subjective.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, so that's all the good stuff, the good bits. But the clanger, we've got some outstanding issues. So we have 28,427 mortgage reinstatement, 5,600 HOA lien.
Hold on. $28,000 behind on the mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay. And the HOA lien, how much?
5,600 HOA lien. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the worst thing is the 30K federal tax lien.
Right. Okay.
So and this is from a wholesaler. So she's
Hold on. This is with a wholesaler right now.
pardon?
The wholesaler has a contract on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants to do. I think
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. She wants to do what?
negotiated a sub 2.
Yeah.
She's negotiated a subject 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So the question is, what can be done with this, and is it worth it? I mean, obviously, there's potential for monthly cash flow.
Well, why don't we look at the
what do you
whole
think?
thing? Why don't we look at all the debt that's on this property? So let's look at this. You got a
Sorry?
The current mortgage out of for 231,154. Is that including the $28,000 in arrears?
Good question. I need to ask her that. In actual fact, I can ask her now because she should be online. Hold on.
HOA lien, $5,600, $30,000 federal tax lien. What do we got here? With or without this? Let's see. 231,154. That's the mortgage.
It kind of reminds me of the one that Brandon was doing earlier on.
5,600. Hang on. $30,000. We got 260.
Oh, it does. It does. That 231,154 does include the 28,427.
Okay. All right. What's it going to take to do this deal? What do they want? If you're able to get it subject to from her, what does the buyer want? What's the contract for?
What does she want a contract for?
Yeah, well, how much is the contract for? We're typing. Anybody play the piano?
Yeah.
Hear any good jokes lately? Well, Vernon's on. All right, Vernon.
Yeah, she just communicated with me on Facebook.
Who are you communicating with? The wholesaler, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you didn't ask her what she wants for the contract.
Yeah, I've just done that. I guess she's contemplating and deliberating.
I took 2 semesters of piano in college, Steve, if you need me to.
Okay, let's see you do chocolate. Would love to learn to play the piano.
Me too.
Okay, let's see what she says.
Mateo's asking
There's 10K.
10,000 on what? What are we giving her for the house? What does she want for it?
And then she says, would you be willing to offer the owner something to move as well? Well,
no.
I mean,
No.
No.
I want to buy it as cheap as possible. Just ask her how much the contract. Just ask this person how much is the contract for. Simple.
She said 10K.
So you can buy the house for $10,000?
Well, she said the contract is for 10K.
No. The contract's got to be for the sale price of the property. Ask her how much the sale price is.
Okay.
Because if we're talking about doing deals subject to and all the rest of that, this isn't a lease option. This is a purchase. So.
Okay. I'm just asking her. Well, what are you thinking, Steve, in terms of numbers?
I don't know. I like the $10,000 number. That had me hold. I'll tell you. I'll make a video for everyone. I don't know. I just get the number from the lady. You got all the rest of these numbers here. You're on track with. So she's got $266,000 in debt on this property. If that includes what's in arrears on the mortgage. Assuming she's got no other mortgages on the house and no other liens.
Oh, do you know what? I can actually look it up on Props.
Don't worry about Prop Stream. If you don't know forget about what it's worth. Forget about all that. If the wholesaler's got a contract to purchase and she wants to sell it for for $10,000, what the hell is the purchase price? It's just simple.
She hasn't come back to me yet. Let me see. Where are we?
After the patient's dying on the table.
Oh, where are we? Well, yeah, well, also, how much is the sale price of the property? Yeah, but there isn't a spike, but it's a subject to, Tony, so.
That's okay. We got subject to, we got other debt on the property. If that's all we're talking about, that's fine.
I don't call you Tony, I mean Steve. I don't know why I called you Tony.
I mean,
I'm thinking it's that New York accent, that's what it is.
What's that?
It's a New York accent, so I'm thinking Tony, you know, for some reason.
Tony.
Anyway, Steve.
Oh.
No, but it's a subject too. So why are you asking about a sale price?
Well, because
there isn't a sale price.
It could be there's a subject to involved, part of the equation.
The subject to.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that's the sale price. I could sell you a house for $500,000. There's $100,000 mortgage on it. I'm going to sell you the house subject to the existing debt and $350,000. Here you're looking at a property that's subject to. It's got $231,000 in change in a first mortgage, but you've also got $28,000.
Okay, so no, I think it's subject to the mortgage balance. But let me just.
So you can buy it for the arrears. And what's
I think it's being sold with the mortgage balance, but let me just double check. Okay.
Then that's got to be on the contract.
And the arrears.
Okay, so you can buy it for that. So you can buy this property for
for the 10K. Yeah.
Okay. So it's 266 is what's owed, plus the $10,000. So 276,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah.
So 276 divided by let's lowball it, 325. That's 85 cents on the dollar. If the property's worth, you say between 3.25 and 375. If it's 325,000, it's too much money. If it needs work, you're 85 cents on a dollar. What are the rentals in the area? You said they were about 1,800 to 2,000.
Yeah, 1,800 to 2,200.
And the PTI, the
1342.
42. You're not going to get rich on this deal, but there's really no other way around it. If they've got this much debt on it, and you know about how they're probably 16, 18 months behind on the mortgage, maybe you should push them for a short sale and see if you can make some money that way. Because you're coming in the door. If the property only comes in at 3.25, you're already buying the property 85 cents on a dollar. That sounds high. Take the 276 divided into the 4.25, the 3.25. I'm sorry, and you'll see your number. So you're at 85 cents. Are you there?
It's cash flowing 858 a month.
Yeah, but it's not. Well, you got to figure. You got how much money are you going to put into this deal to make it work? I'll ask you. I don't know what's going on. I think we're.
Well, what happens with the federal tax lien? What happens with that?
It should get paid when the property changes out. When the property changes hands.
Right.
So if there's a deed involved, you're gonna buy the property subject to the debt. Okay. Then I'm not going to give you legal advice, but it's safe to assume that the IRS is going to have their hand out, because there's if the house didn't have the $30,000 in it if it wasn't worth the money, if it wasn't worth that, and let's say the house was only worth 200 and you had 260,000 in debt, they'd probably waive the 30,000 and go look to put it on something else, so the sale could happen. But in this case, there isn't enough debt on the property, and there's still some kind of equity on the top. Using your numbers at the low ball number of 325, you're still at 85 cents. There's not a lot of money to be made. But I tell you what you do. How long? You know how long the contract is for?
Well, she's got until May 5th at 5 p.m. before it goes to auction. Literally a couple of days.
Gee, that's May 5th before it goes to auction.
That's the day after tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Send her a box of chocolate. That's about all you're gonna do with this deal. Send her a box of chocolate. I wouldn't. Nah, it's. You know what? Go to maybe if you got the cash, you have somebody go to the auction. Maybe they might be able to steal this house, but that's from what I'm hearing in Arizona. Arizona's a hot market. You know what you might do is call Brandon Simmons that was on this morning, and run that deal past him and see if he's got anybody in Arizona for that deal. And tell him it's going to auction the next day. Get him on the phone tomorrow morning, or send him an email tonight. That's what I would do with that deal.
Maybe Bob Vieira right after that.
Well, if these guys think that this is worth a deal, they can stop. They can stop this. Well, stop the sale. I don't know how it works in Arizona. I really don't know. I don't know. See, if they're going to a sale, they should have already. It's already in judgment. So, the bank has the right to liquidate the asset if the court's already said it. Getting away from all that. Call those two guys. I call Brandon first, see if he's got anybody alive down there in Tucson, and they can make that deal happen. Run the whole deal past them. Make sure you get all your numbers, and send them an email tonight. Brandon's hungry.
Yeah.
Send him an email tonight. That's what this guy does. And they're 3 hours behind us right now, so it's only like 6, 7 o'clock out there.
Right.
So that's what I would do. All right.
Yeah, is he in the
He's in the VIP Facebook group.
He's in the Facebook group, Justin, right? Brandon?
Yep, Brandon Simmons. Yep, you can tap in there.
Yeah.
You got an important deal you want to talk to him about in Tucson, and to get right back to you. Don't put all the details on the web. Let him call you, and you'll give him the information like you just did to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Good advice.
Let us know how you do.
I will do. Thanks a lot. I mean, that actually came from me using Victor's Facebook method.
Oh, wow.
And it may not be the best, but hey, it was something interesting. You never know.
Let's call Victor the preacher man.
Well, good.
It's all good. It's all good. Congratulations. Make that one happen. Get them on the phone. Send them an email tonight. Text message tonight.
Yeah,
all
we'll
right,
do.
Doc.
Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else got something? Hello. Any questions about anything? We're not doing marital advice. That's Justin on Monday. So, anybody else going once? Anybody else going twice? Ooh. Tail, you back. Anything else? CD Wright. Hey man, where you been?
It's Corey.
Oh man, I've been hanging around.
You've been traveling incognito, yeah.
No, not really. I came across something today. This girl, she has it looks like an old church, to be honest with you, but they're advertising it as a house. Can we do things like that?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, they're having a problem, I guess.
Is it already owned by an individual? Or is it owned by a church? Probably owned by an individual.
Yeah, it's owned by an individual. So dad, he's getting old. He just wanted to get rid of it. So it looks like a straight wholesale deal, but I wasn't quite sure on how, the way it was listed was like listed as a house. But when I look at it, it's an old church.
So it's got a lot of room inside.
Yeah, it is. About 2,500 square foot.
That might be a nice assignment deal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There's companies. I hate to say companies. There's places out there looking for square footage for churches every day.
Okay.
You might do well with that. You might do well just doing a long-term lease and putting somebody in there. But you got to understand when the plate on Sunday gets a little light, so's your rent. So
Ah.
I did that.
Oh wow.
I did that. Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
not gonna evict a poor pastor. Pastor's driving a brand new Mercedes Benz. Yeah, I will. Watch me. So then your Mercedes.
We got a
Yeah.
special. We got a special request in the chat here, Steve. Did you see
Yep.
that?
No, sir.
Said next time go over how you find businesses to sell.
Oh, that's a whole nother ballgame. I don't sell businesses. I lease the opportunity and let the buyer do that. Who asked that question?
Vernon, your buddy.
Oh, Vernon. He's got to call me. I'll have a chat with him. Vernon's a great guy, man. Yeah, he turned me on to a special list, and I want to thank him when I talk to him. Yeah, great deal, great stuff. Um, Anybody else got something? Any other questions? What else is in the chat room there? Anything worth? Any other questions on there? Steve and Justin, thank you. Short sale. I guess we covered it all.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of another thing that I do is I'll lease a commercial business. In other words, I'll lease like pick a business like an automobile body shop, and this place has been in business for a long time, and the owner wants to get out, and he's got the place up for sale, and he just can't get the money out of it. You know, he's got to go. Someone has got to come in the door with 50, 60, 70,000 dollars, and he really doesn't want to hold the note. So as the SPC's got to get involved and give him the rest of the money, and he might not get it. You know, it sounds like I'm whining, but that's the way those deals work. But I'll get in the middle. I'll master lease the building, the inventory, his name of the company, all the goodwill, everything that he's got inside those four walls, including all his equipment, his trucks, everything. We'll do an inventory. We put it all on the master lease, and I lease all of that. Now, what the hell am I going to do with all this? My lease actually doesn't start until I find a tenant buyer. So now I find a tenant buyer who's got enough money in it to make it worth my while, and I might stay in the deal as like a sandwich deal like you do with housing, or I might just assign it, take a nice big chunk of cash, and get out. The deal I did 2 weeks ago, well, it's almost 3 weeks ago now, on a funeral home was all just cash, goodbye and good luck. That was a great deal. But businesses, you can lease anything. You can lease cars, you can lease trucks. You see it on television all the time. But the Hertz Corporation leases all kinds of equipment and desks and tables and copy machines.
Right.
And that's Hertz, and they make more money doing that than they ever make doing cars. But Hertz is known for cars. You look at why can't you lease a business? Why can't you? I mean, so what happens? This guy with his body shop now, and the guy stops paying him. He turns around, he walks right back into the deal. The business transaction. As long as this guy didn't hightail it with all of his equipment and everything, which they usually don't. I haven't had any problems like that. Usually, if a deal's going bad, they hand you the keys and say, "Man, I'm sorry, this didn't work out." All right, then I get to do it again and collect another 50, 60, 100 grand, whatever. Tough business, man. A lot of fun. It beats doing it. I like it because I'm dealing with something that's really not tangible. I'm dealing with a person that has an opportunity to make money. So it's cool. It's cool. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but not everybody's got the cash to go ahead and get a business going. So if I can give the guy in the body shop the opportunity to retire and get almost the same amount of money he's getting now, and he's working for it, what if he can get a paycheck that's somewhat similar to that every week? A rent check that includes everything that you're doing now. Can we do business? Yeah. All I'm doing is replacing his check. Interesting. A lot of fun, but you can do it with anything. Vernon's back. Hey, Vernon.
Sounds
Anyway.
like a guts move to me.
Yeah, well, you and I, we got to chat offline, you and I, bud. So, but you understand what I'm talking about, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. You got it's and look at how many businesses are out there today that people would love to just get the hell out of. I don't care if it's a pizzeria, doesn't matter what kind of business it is. The less labor intensive it is, the easier the business is to sell. I don't get involved with businesses that I haven't got a clue what the hell I'm doing. Like software companies and all that. I don't understand. I'm not into all that. I don't know. That's a whole learning curve. But I've done all kinds of businesses. Assisted living facilities. I did a few of those. They all came out well. Well, all but one. But I did my deal. I took the cash. The guy turned around, bought the business, bought the building, and it's been closed for the last 2.5 years. And I don't know why. So, but whatever. He's got all his money tied up in it. Usually when something like that happens, there's a big chain of there's a life event that happens or something like that. But it's fun. It really is. It's fun. So, anybody else got any questions?
It's been good tonight. It's been good tonight, Steve. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I like doing these on Monday nights. It's something different. We can just bounce the ball around. We can just general chat or answer questions or whatever. Not everybody can get on during the day.
I want to talk more about seller carryback.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Well, we can do it next week, but I want to dive into the ins and outs of that.
You got to be, you talk about wholesaling property. When you wholesale a property, say that's that same $100,000 property, and the guy that's going to buy it is a rehabber, and it's probably, let's say you're buying it for $100,000, or you're on a contract for $100,000, and you turn around, and the house needs another 50 or 60 grand put into it, but it's going to be worth 250 when he gets done with it. So you got a contract to buy this for 100,000. What if you went ahead and brought in a private lender for the whole 100,000? And now instead of selling it for the $5,000 or $10,000 assignment fee, you provide financing. Listen close. You provide financing to your wholesaler, your rehabber. And now the first $100,000 in the transaction, you're going to hold 100% of the mortgage. Now you got a first mortgage against the property. Now you might even want to loan him the $60,000 he needs to get the deal done, to get the supplies that he needs for the deal. Let's say it's only $30,000 in supplies and $30,000 in labor. I'm not going to pay the guy for his labor, but maybe I take $130,000 from my private lender. Now, when this house is done, it's worth the $250,000. So I'm going to loan. I'm going to take the $100,000 from my private lender to cover the first mortgage on the property for my purchase, and I'm going to take another $30,000 and leave it in my checking account. I open a special checking account just for this house to keep the books straight, and I loan that $30,000 in pieces to the fellow who's rehabbing the property. Now he's going to put all his blood and guts into this property to make this thing work. But now I'm going to sell him the property for a premium instead of me selling it for the $100,000 or $110,000 or whatever it is, with my fee. All right, maybe I'm going to sell it to him for $100,000. If the bottom line is the house is worth $250,000 when he's done, and we've only got $130,000 with the supplies and all that in it, maybe I'll sell it to him for 150 or 160 grand and hold the note, for 170,000 and hold the note. What's that money worth to that wholesaler or to that rehabber? He doesn't have to go out and borrow. Think about that.
Right.
Now that $5,000 or $10,000 fee just turned into 50 grand. And if the deal goes south, you got the house back. That I would put in a trust, a trust, and I would finance my well, what do you want to call it? It's 10 o'clock here. I'm getting phased. I financed his piece inside the trust. So if he didn't pay, all I got to do is just send a letter. That's it. The property's back. So it works. It works out well. I've done a few of those, but that's business to business. That's not talking about doing anything with a consumer. So those transactions aren't governed with Dodd-Frank. You file your UCCs and you just sit back, and if the guy messes up, you got the property back. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's the way to do. That's the way to do business type of transactions. If you really want to turn a wholesale deal around, and finding private money. When a deal is going to be turning around for 250,000, you show your nuts and bolts and the numbers to your investor. So listen, I need 150 grand on a $250,000 deal, and it's a 2-year deal. I'm going to give you 7% interest, 8% interest, whatever it is. You could charge the 8%, and you could give him 8% interest and charge interest to your buyer, right? And let him pay 10% or 11%. He's got no fees or anything like that. Just build everything in and collect that every month, and he pays the interest to your private lender. You're only limited by your imagination.
Nick, you got your hand up.
Yeah. Hey, so what I'm thinking would be kind of helpful, if we can do maybe on one of these Mondays, is we can do like a role play of working out the deal. So we can. I would like that, at least for me. I don't know if anybody else would feel the same way, but since we do a lot of that with the lease options, maybe we could help get it under thumb better if we kind of do a little role play with it and like, so we can make the offers and see, and you can kind of critique like on this one, you could have done this or add this percentage or whatnot.
My leads come to me through referrals. So I'm not running ads.
Well, I'm not saying about the how to get the leads. I'm just saying when you're on the phone, like how to structure the offer is what I mean.
Yeah. So like for example, one role play would be the seller has a government backed FHA loan. Another role play would be they have a conventional loan. And another role play would be it's free and clear.
Right.
Like, for example, those 3 type scenarios, where would we go? What would we do? That's what you're asking, right?
Right. Yeah. And then
with this or with the business type, we were just talking about business, business lease options. Which way are you going with this?
Now they're talking about they're going. You were talking about wholesaler, business to business, wholesaler to investor, but they're talking about
I'm not referring to any of that. I'm referring to seller financing, the whole aspect of it. Like, so like if, like, for example, if we were doing this and just say, that, well, I've got $200,000 left in my mortgage, it's a $750,000 property. What kind of offer are you going to make me? And then one of us would come in and say, well, look, if I can do this, I'm not trying to say negotiate role play, but more role play for the sake of understanding the numbers and doing the kind of the strategy with it to make sure that's a little bit ingrained, to say, well, if I can't scratch that itch, maybe I can satisfy it in this way, is what I'm getting at. Because
so we know how to make an offer to the homeowners, which you're saying.
Right.
Yes. When you understand how the financing works, think about this a minute. See, here's something he didn't cover this morning, and I know he knows how to do it. I'm telling you, all right? We scratched this a couple of weeks ago, all right? Let's say this house, this same guy wants this $400,000 for this house, but the rents in the area are only like $1,800, so it's not going to cash flow. So we'll take, but maybe I can only get the house to cash flow with debt principal and interest, maybe 275 or 300,000. So let's say we agree on we still agree on the 400,000, and I'm making principal payments on 300 of it, and I take out a second mortgage with the same seller for the extra $100,000. I let it balloon in 10 or 15 years, and I make no principal and no interest payments on that $100,000 because the deal ain't going to work without it. But I'm going to give him what he wants. That's something we didn't talk about today. You can buy any deal looking at that kind of financing. Any deal. I mean, if the biggest thing in the person's mind is getting that $400,000, you can make the $400,000 work. Sooner or later, this damn property is going to be worth that. It might take 10 years, but sooner or later. But in the meantime, you're getting all that cash flow from that property, and you're paying down your mortgage with him very fast because you haven't spoken about interest. And even if you got to give him 2 or 3%, when those numbers wash out at the end of the year, you're paying this mortgage off really fast because you're not paying a whole lot in interest or zero. So that $100,000 mortgage that you're talking about in 10 or 15 years, he'll give you a call probably every anniversary and say, hey, listen, you got that $100,000? Say, no, well, we still got 9 more years left. But I can bring in a private investor, maybe we'll take you out, but there's going to be a discount on it. I've never seen one of those go all the way out to the term. That's another way for you to get a discount on the property.
Wow, that's great.
It's just not happening today.
Yeah.
It's happening down the road. So 5 years from now, and then listen, I've got a guy, you pick up the phone and say, listen, I got a hungry investor looking for a note. He's got $55,000 to his name. I can't get any more money out of him. I know, I'm sure you won't take this, but I told him I'd run it past you. That's all. So how's everything else? He's got $55,000 in cash. He's ready to go. $55,000 today. How many times can you turn that over in 5 years? There you go. Don't trip over the dollar bills to pick up the nickels.
So next week I'm gonna bring some examples of deals and scenarios. We can work through those, and you guys bring some too. Bring yours.
Give me a heads up on these so I got something to work with, so I'm not going in blind.
No, it's not how it works.
Send me over what you got. If you guys want to send deals, then you got to send it to us in preview so we can preview them so I know what we're doing.
You got to shoot from the hip, man.
Yeah, sunrisecredit@yahoo.com. Send it right to them. That's my email. Sunrisecredit@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Send it there so I get an idea what I'm doing. Hey, this has been fun tonight. We've been on for a while. Last call. Anybody else got any comments or questions?
No, I'm going to send you guys one now. I have one I want you to look at. I didn't speak up until now, but I think it's one I'd like you to, take a good look at for me.
You want to talk about it now?
Can I screen share?
Sure.
Okay. So I've never done that. Do I hit share and then it just simply goes?
Yeah, just hit the share screen button and then you'll see what you need to do next.
Okay. All right.
So we sell a guy a property on a growth contract on a trust, finance the beneficial interest. He puts up his beneficial interest as collateral, and he doesn't pay you, and you just take it back. It's a beautiful thing. That's what I was trying to say before.
For some reason I can't get that to move out of the way. It's what's underneath. I don't know what you can see.
Yeah, go up and just reduce your screen. Go to the regular screen.
Yeah, when you hit share screen, then you can reduce the zoom window, and it will just be seeing whatever your screen shares, what's on your screen.
Yeah, he might be maxed out. Well, he's got to hit the button up on the top to reduce it a little bit.
All right. right. Yeah, I can't get it for some reason. It was.
It's a deal you're in contract on, you're thinking about?
It's a deal. It's a deal I did, and it's a lease with option to purchase agreement. And the question was going to be, would you have done anything different?
Well, what's your deal? Go ahead, tell us about it.
Okay, so I got it fixed for 60 months with an option to extend for 2 more months. So really 7 years. And
You mean 2 more years, or yeah, not 2 more months, 2 more years.
2 more years. I can extend it for 2 years.
Cool.
At the end of 60. So, and so I pay her $975 a month.
Okay.
And I'm renting it right now. I have tenants in it right now at $1925 a month.
Wow, how do you sleep at night? What's to know? You're making money. That's a great deal. Go ahead. What else you got?
So here's the catch with it. So this is one that this is one that I want to keep for myself, and
right.
So that's the reason I extended it so far out. One thing I did not do is get an escrow agreement with her. I just send her the money directly every month. And one thing I'm wondering, is there a way I can correct that with her? And by the way, I'm friends with her. My daughter's rented this house for 5 years before I entered into this deal with her.
Well, you can always say you had a meeting with your accountant, and the accountant says, whoa, you got to go through escrow. That's the thing. That's the, an escrow company and all that. And well, you're back up, because you're just lease optioning this. You don't have any option to purchase it on a financial arrangement, right?
No.
Okay, so what's your option to purchase it for? Do you have an option to purchase?
I do. In this, its option to purchase is for $151,000. And I just looked on, it's at about 218 on Prop Stream now.
Okay, is she giving you any? Are you building any equity with these payments you're giving her? She giving you credit towards the purchase?
I get a $150 per month rent credit from her.
And you want to keep this house? You want to buy it?
I want to keep it. Yeah, I want to purchase it.
So how you want to do it? And when you want to do it?
See, that's the thing. I'm not sure. I needed that time to be able to think about it. And right now I'm just taking the cash flow. And
how long have you owned it? Well, how long have you had your contract for?
October 2019. So it'll be 2 years this coming October.
Okay, so you've already got a track record with it. You can show a bank. You're getting $1,000 a month thereabouts in cash flow. Are you spending this money, or you just leave? It's a personal question, but I mean, I wonder, are you setting anything aside to buy this property?
Yeah, some. I've had to do a few repairs.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, why don't you contact some of these bars, these single family, double, duplex property finance mortgage companies. They're all over the trade magazines. They're all over the place. I must get 30 leases pieces a day over my email. Contact them. You already have an option to purchase it. You can buy it at any time, right?
Yes. Or a
well, the longer you wait, you're still paying it down by this small amount of money. It's $150 a month. Why would you want to buy it right now?
Good question. Probably should just let it hang while it's cash flowing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, you could do that, as long as you're not worried about her selling the property out from under you. She could turn around and, if she turns around and sells it, it'd be stupid of her, because she's got this contract out there. So, but
Right.
What state's the property in?
It's in Melbourne, Florida. It's not far from where you are now. Melbourne's over on the, but it's called the Space Coast.
Yeah. NASA and Cocoa Beach and all that.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's not far from me at all right now. Yeah. I don't think I'd buy it right now.
Okay.
I think I just keep putting the money in the bank, and unless interest rates start going completely stupid, I'd start looking for either a private investor or do you have any other properties that you're doing this with?
I don't see.
So you might just keep this one around. You got 4.5 years or 5.5 years, whatever it is left on this thing, or more. It's going to go up in value even more. And by the time you go ahead and buy it, you might even want to take some equity out. So you have a right to buy it for the was it 151,000, and it's worth over 2 right now. So there's 50,000 in equity in your pocket.
Okay.
So that's all pretty good, I'd say.
Okay.
And $1,000 a month.
And this was
you
my
want to
first.
sell me the lease for 30 grand?
Yeah. Mm-mm.
No, I can't entice you. Okay.
I tell you what's cool though.
Yeah.
On a side note, she does have what I'm going to see her next week because we're going down to Florida for Mother's Day, and I'm going to see the lady. So it's unfortunate, but she's lost she's lost 2 husbands in the past 8 years.
Wow.
Like I said, she's a friend. My daughter's rented from her for a few years, and so she has 3 to 4 properties and plus a couple vacant pieces of land in that area, and then one in Georgia that are all in probate right now. And I don't even know how to approach that yet. But
That's all right. Sooner or later, they come out of probate and they tell you who's going to be in charge of the estate, and they award it and say who's going to be selling it. I don't know a lot about probate either. So, but that's what I understand the way it works. I haven't done it. The stuff I've had that was in probate, homes that I have purchased that were in probate, the families have all finished with it and they're going out. I have one house, you're gonna laugh. It's here in Florida that I have been in contract on for 11 years. The family is that there's 10 or 11 kids in the family, and they can't figure out. They can't all get together and settle as to what they want to do with this house. And I don't give a damn about the house. I want the car that's in the garage. So,
car.
I'm sorry.
What's it old? What kind of car is it?
It's a '66 Ford LTD.
Oh.
It's a black car with the big thick nylon red seats, but it's got license plates on it from 1967 from Illinois, and there's less than 2,000 miles on the odometer.
Wow.
There's a lawnmower sitting on the front hood of the car that fell off a shelf. But when I got the hood open, when I was looking at the house years ago, the paint was still on the exhaust manifolds from when the car was built.
Probably has a 460 in it.
Yeah, it's not that big. I think it was a 390.
Okay.
But yeah. Cool. I'm a car guy, man. I'm 40 years in the automobile business, so it's all good. Yeah, I wouldn't. Take the cash that you put into this deal and go buy another one. You're in a great area down there, man. And you know what? When you meet with her, say, listen, I'd like to help you solve these issues. What if you just took all this stuff and just turned it into cash? Wouldn't that be good for you? Wouldn't you be happier? Wouldn't you be sleeping that whole lot better? I'm your guy. If you decide you want to do that, I can help you with the whole shebang. The real estate, the clear lots, the lots, the houses, the apartments, whatever. I'm your guy. That's what I do. So if I can help you, please give me a call. I won't charge you a fee, nothing like that. No consultation, nothing like that. And if I can help you, that's great.
And she definitely trusts me. I've been nothing but good and been a good friend to her. And I've been on time every time with this deal.
Yeah. All good. Yeah, man. Go after the rest of them, but do it the right way. It sounds like you're going to do the right thing by her. So, and that's good. That's good. Okay.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, no problem. Good deal. I don't know how you sleep at night, tell you the truth, but that's all right. All right, it's all good. I think we're going to call it quits. We got CD Wright still on, and Dr. Michelle and Vernon's hanging in there. You and I. So
yeah. Learning a lot, fellas.
The diehards are here. The diehards. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it a night, eh? All right, Justin, thanks for your help.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Deal or no deal. See you tomorrow, Tuesday morning. Have a good night. You take
All
care.
right. Thanks,
sir.
Steve.
You
Yeah, have a
bet.
good night.
Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.